Episode with Steve Dolinsky.
This is the first episode?
The first.
Wow, a lot of pressure.
So the first episode, and our topic today is farm to tables and what's all the hype. So I'm excited to talk to you, Steve. We've been talking already, just trying to get an idea of what your perspective is on farm to table restaurants. So let me ask you the first question, like, what do you think the hype is? I know you kind of answered it for me already.
Well, I think the term farm to table was big 10, 15 years ago. I think it's an overused term at this point. Someone has to say we're a farm to table restaurant. We're kind of, in some ways, barking up the wrong tree. It's like everybody takes for granted that you are working with local farmers. You are, and it's not that difficult to find local farmers in our region, especially in Chicago. I mean, yes, we're in the West, but in the middle of winter, you've got Mighty Vine tomatoes 70 miles west of here that are being grown under glass. You've got hoop house produce, I think, in some farmers' back sheds. You've got the indoor market on Saturdays. There are options here to get farm fresh produce from the Midwest. I think you're really reaching if you have to say we're farm to table these days. I think it's just sort of people expect and they understand that if you're a restaurant of any quality, any decent quality, you're committed to quality, you're going to be using local produce.
Okay. So you heard it from Steve. There's really no reason for a restaurant to define themselves or to give them the title of farm to table restaurant. My next question is, what would you qualify as so let's remove the titles. What would you qualify as a great farm to table restaurant?
Oh, without question, Lula Cafe, Logan Square. They've been there for 15, almost 20 years maybe. They're right at Kedzie and Logan Boulevard, and they were really one of the precursors. They, back before it was really cool, they really adhere to that sort of California ethos at Alice Waters. They're working with the farmers. They've always done a farm dinner on Monday nights. Whatever they get in from the farms over the weekend, they create a 3 or 4 course dinner on that Monday night.
Oh, wow.
From from the farm. So I think Lula is probably the kingpin in terms of farm to table. We're sitting in a place like the kitchen. We certainly believe in that approach. Also working with local farms. A lot of farmers mentioned on their menus. They're not afraid to say we're getting our greens from Nichols Farm, our fruit from Klug Farm across the lake. There's another place that just opened up called Bad Hunter.
Yep.
Next door to Ocean Mall or West Randolph. Heavy vegetarian menu, a lot of vegetables.
I saw your review.
Oh yeah, this last Saturday, last
right.
weekend, yeah. So they're doing a great job. Their chef worked at Nico Osteria, so he's probably got more seafood experience, but certainly a lot of vegetables. 90% of that menu is vegetables.
Yeah.
Even a little place like Left Coast Food and Juice. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It's on Lincoln. It's about 2,600 north or so, 2,700 North Lincoln. It's kind of a small cafe, but very much that California mold.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of avocado toasts. So California, they've got lots of grain bowls, lots of seeds, lots of nuts, but really, really delicious food. And again, they don't go on their menu and brag about we're getting our stuff from this farm and that farm,
right.
but you can tell. Even Paul Kahn from Blackbird looked at the menu. You know they're not getting commodity pork. You know they're not getting commodity beef. You know anything they have is going to be grass-fed, no hormone, GMO-free.
Yes. All the buzzwords.
Borderline organic, but they don't need to say farm to table. You can just tell, look at the menu.
Now, you're from the south suburbs, and most of the people watching are. I feel like I don't have as many options. What, from your estimation, you've been in this industry and reviewing restaurants and tasting food for over 20 years. When you think about the south suburbs, what comes to mind to you?
Yeah, unfortunately, you're talking about like Homewood Flossmoor,
Orland, Keenan, Frankfurt.
We see the occasional interesting ethnic restaurant, like something Middle Eastern or Turkish or Asian. There's a place called Q, I think.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't know about Q.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But for the most part, especially like in the city and for city to suburb transition, a lot of fast food. It's just there aren't these kinds of restaurants where I don't know if it's the community doesn't support it or they can't. It's a combination of rent and labor, and food, and getting the food delivered. There just hasn't been that kind of place. So I think of barbecue, I think of Asian food, I think of pizza, of course, Italian beef. Not the highest quality in terms of that farm to table, that farm fresh.
Right.
There's so vegetarian down there.
Yeah, and it's a few restaurants, and I'm aware of them. But I'm curious, what would you say for our viewers if they were wanting to make sure the majority of the restaurants that they're dining in do have these quality foods? What can they do to kind of make that change? I mean, you've seen it happen over the last 20 plus years here in Chicago.
I look for seasonality. I would look for places, in the middle of winter, they probably shouldn't have a lot of tomatoes on their menu, unless they say Mighty Vine. Now, Mighty Vine is this company in Roselle, about 70 miles west of Chicago, and they have an enormous greenhouse. It's really a beautiful, beautiful place. They're from the Netherlands originally.
Okay.
But they've got this local business owner, and they're growing all these tomatoes. And a lot of local chefs now are putting Mighty Vine tomatoes on their menus. They've got them here in the kitchen. But if you just see tomatoes on a menu in the middle of winter, that means they're getting them from Chile and from Florida and from Mexico. And that probably means they're not as committed to buying local, to sourcing locally, to cooking within the seasons. Same thing with seafood. Not that everything has to be sustainable, but farm-raised salmon, typically that's Atlantic salmon is the breed, that's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be something that a committed restaurant's going to serve on their menu. Patagonian toothfish, also known as Chilean sea bass, not a really great product unless you know exactly which farm it's coming from.
Right.
The fish farm. There's a lot of fish that are going to deplete the environment, not good for the environment. It takes a lot of energy to get to Chicago.
So what fish should someone look for?
Wild caught whenever possible. Wild caught salmon is one of the best. That's going to be a limited season, obviously. I look for Nantucket scallops in November. I look for stone crabs in October. I look for soft shell crabs in the spring. There's the Monterey Bay Aquarium has a guide. You can look. I think the Shed also has a guide.
Okay.
You can really easily look and see what's in season. So right now, it's January.
The Shed Aquarium.
Shed Aquarium, yeah.
Okay.
So go look on their website for that sustainability chart. Right now it's January, February. You want to see what kinds of fish should be in season right now. That's what you want to buy. You want to ask questions about where the beef is from. Don't be afraid to ask questions here in the restaurant. If they've got a $15 fillet, it's probably not going to be the greatest quality prime aged USDA grade beef.
Right.
And USDA grades beef three ways. There's prime, which is only about 2% of the beef population. There's choice,
okay,
which is most of the steakhouses. Angus is a breed, but choice is the grade. And there's select, which is what you find at a Jewel or Dominic's or in a grocery store, and that's going to be pretty lean, not a lot of fat or protein.
Right.
And that's going to be lesser quality because there's not as much fat, not as much flavor. Hasn't been raised on, hormones and fed grass. But you typically want to ask questions. Is it USDA grade prime? Has it been grass fed or corn fed? The reason they feed it corn so they fatten up quickly.
Yeah.
They don't have to wait as long. Fattens up quickly, and of course it has more fat in the product. That means more flavor. Grass fed is going to be a leaner product. It takes a little more skill cooking it. You don't want to overcook it,
right? Because
when there's less fat, it's going to be leaner. That means you've really got to be careful with how you're cooking it.
Right.
So, but again, grass fed's healthier. Cows are ruminants. They're designed to eat grass. When you feed them corn, they tend to get sick. They need antibiotics.
Right.
Why do you give them antibiotics? To prevent illness. When you give cows antibiotics, you go down this other chain of not so healthy, right?
Right.
So you don't want the cows to be given drugs and antibiotics. How do you do that? If it's grass-fed, grass-finished, that's the way to do it. So ask questions. How's the cattle raised? Is it grass-fed, grass-finished? Is it grass-fed, corn-finished? Sometimes they'll put it on corn for a couple of weeks at the end.
Yeah.
That's probably okay. They don't need to have antibiotics. You want to find out from the server. The server should know these answers.
So now you know why I have Steve here, because he knows, and if you know anything about me, how passionate I am about nutrition and educating on nutrition, this is some good information. So my other question is, we're here at the Kitchen, which is in Chicago. Tell me, you reviewed this restaurant a few months back, and this is what we would call a farm-to-table restaurant. What, in your estimation, sets this restaurant apart?
Well, I just like that Chef Johnny here used to be a Telegraph, another good restaurant in Logan Square. Since he's taken over here, they're based, they started in Colorado, and they're really about clean food. And you know that whatever's on the menu, you can see, they're not afraid to say, again, where the farms are. And sometimes as a reporter, I've called farms and I've asked them, hey, I noticed your name on such and such's menu. Do you sell to them? And sometimes they'll say no.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And Johnny, I'm not worried about that here because I've known him for years. But that is something when they list, they're confident enough to list the farms they're buying the product from, and most of them are from this region. That's a good sign. And also, just the food is simple. It doesn't require a lot of ingredients.
Right.
Sometimes less is more. And just really simply prepared fish. He's always been a proponent of really good quality ingredients. When you get good quality ingredients, you don't need to do a lot to them. You don't need to add sauces and cover them up with things. In the old days, like with oysters, people would put all kinds of things on top of oysters, like eggs and capers and cream and all that to cover up and inflate your oyster. Now, if it's a really beautiful oyster, it doesn't need just, I think, a little squeeze of lemon and that's it. Same thing here. If you've got a really nice piece of fish, a squeeze of lemon, a little olive oil. You don't need to put a lot on it.
Right.
Why would you want to muck it up? So I'm a fan of less is more. It looks a lot like the guys at Lula do. Just working with everyone, whatever is seasonal. This time of year, it's winter, so winter citrus.
Right.
Right now, I haven't seen the menu currently, but I'm guessing there's Kawa orranges, or there's mandarins, or there's
the oranges, mandarins, grapefruits. Those are things that are going to be in season.
You want to look for winter citrus, things like Meyer lemons, things that are being grown right now in Georgia and Florida. You don't have to get them from Chile and from Mexico and other countries. It should come from our country.
Right.
And I ask those kinds of questions. Where is it coming from? Be a smarter diner.
Right.
Ask questions.
Well, I'm sure every single person in Chicago knows who you are. But for that one person that may not.
I don't think so.
For the one person that may not, I want to just make sure we introduce you.
Okay.
So Steve, you've been host of The Hungry Hound for now how long?
For this will be my 14th year.
14th year.
Yeah, I started at ABC in 03. And I was doing 2 stories a week for ABC, then on to 4 stories a week. Now I'm down to 2 stories for the last couple of years. And I'm on Fridays just before noon, 11:50, and then Saturday nights at 10 o'clock.
Okay, and how did you get into this? How did you get into reviewing restaurants? What made you the expert?
So, and I want to point out, I'm not necessarily reviewing restaurants.
Okay.
I'm doing stories about ingredients, about dishes, about restaurants. Yeah. Now, reviewing implies you're going multiple times anonymously. You're writing a review of the entire experience. I'm not anonymous because I'm on Channel 7.
Right.
I'm looking for interesting angles about barbecue. I want to teach somebody about Japanese pancake from Osaka. I want that sort of thing.
Okay.
So, but I got into it from doing the Good Eating Show. I did the Good Eating Show for 8 years on CLTV, Chicagoland Television, still in business, for the Tribune Company. And I was a news reporter in real life, covering fires and all kinds of big story cities. Newscasts, and did that for 2 years at CLTV, and then went over to the Good Eating Show in '95, and produced and then hosted this show. It was a weekly television version of the Chicago Tribune's food section.
Okay.
So we did that for 8 years, and while I was doing that, I was picking up more freelance, doing Chicago Public Radio and PRI's The World, writing for CS Magazine, Michigan Avenue Magazine, writing for the Tribune, and when they canceled that show in '03, I shot myself around Chicago as a food reporter.
Oh, wow.
Not a food critic, a food reporter.
Okay.
And ABC offered me a job.
Wow. Food reporter, not critic.
Right.
So we actually have some food coming out here in a moment that we're going to taste from the kitchen. But right now, if you're live and you have any questions, we're going to try to see if there's any questions that are popping up. Let us know if there's any questions. If you have any questions for Steve or myself, let's get those questions answered. If you have a question about the farm-to-table restaurants in your area, or what's in season or what's not, what's good or what's not, go ahead and ask those questions right now.
I will preemptively answer a question.
Okay.
This is the question I get the most about my weight. How do you keep your weight?
Because I asked that question also.
Right. And from the number one question, I know why, because I do eat a lot. But I want to clarify that. When I eat, I don't clean my plate. When I see a basket of French fries in front of me, I take 1 or 2, maybe 3.
So I can't have the basket of fries.
You cannot have the basket of fries.
Okay. Well,
I would say you can't have a full plate of anything, only because portions in America are just so mammoth. Most places, especially Italian restaurants, get so heavy with the pasta. and the sauce and the cheese and the bread. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So I think everything in moderation, first of all. Just a couple of this, taste of that. And I'm doing another pizza crawl right now in the midst of. I've got 50 pizzas to try over the next month or so because I'm working on a book. And I'll do 3 places in the night. Like
Okay.
tonight I'm going out and I'll do 3 places. And just maybe 1 piece at each place. Maybe.
Okay.
Probably less than a
Wow,
piece.
wow.
So
That
moderation.
takes discipline.
It takes discipline, yes. That's hard.
Yeah.
The other thing is water. I drink a lot of water. I drink a little, I drink alcohol, I have a glass of wine with dinner, maybe a beer once in a while. I drink no soda. There is no such thing as soda in my house. So a lot of water, that's another key. And then, a decent amount of exercise. Not every day, not 5 hours a day.
How many days a week?
Probably 3 days a week.
3 days a
3
week.
days a week, I go to there's a thing called Core Power. They're all over Chicago. I go for whenever I can fit it in my schedule. They have classes every hour or so.
Or you can come to Coach Seal and we'll train you.
Or go to Coach Sill and she'll train you. I used to have a trainer. She went on maternity leave and she never came back. So, but I was going to train her once a week for an hour.
I'm done with babies, so I'm good.
I can't do more than an hour, folks. 1 hour is like that's the max I can do.
Yeah.
So I go to Core Power, do hot yoga for an hour, I do weights for an hour. I work out of my car maybe for an hour, 45 minutes, but that's it. 3 times a week just to get my heart rate up, just to burn some calories. That's it. So moderation.
Moderation, water, no pop.
No pop.
3 times a week, workout, at least an hour.
That's such a Midwest thing. I always say pop as a kid. It's
And soda.
pop or soda.
Soda.
But yes, I'm from the Midwest. I should say pop. So no pop and a lot of water and exercise. A little bit of exercise for sure.
All right. And you told me no drive-throughs.
No drive-thrus. Never.
No
Come
McDonald's.
on.
Oh my goodness, it makes my stomach hurt. All right, let's see what. Oh, we have food
We have
here.
food coming. Sure.
Next, you're gonna come around.
You want to sit over there?
You want to, or you can stand?
I can sit.
Sure.
down,
Come
yeah.
on, have a seat.
This is Johnny's executive chef here.
Can we see this? Look at that.
Crispy skin on top. That is, you said striper?
Yeah, striped bass.
And you've got some, beautiful gold. Are those Mighty Vine tomatoes?
Yeah, so these are Mighty Vine tomatoes. It's grown here locally, vertical farm.
Which are in season.
Yeah, exactly. In season, out of season,
Okay.
kind of thing, which is special. We have a royal trumpet mushroom.
Trumpet mushroom.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Beautiful.
So yeah, we got some really nice ones. Come in, we just slice them really thin and sear them on the plancha. And we made
This is wonderful.
winter pesto with sage and pistachio.
A winter pesto, so sage instead of basil.
Sage instead of basil. We use a fairly local goat cheese called Evelyn. It's like a hard raw goat cheese.
Instead of Parmesan.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
And that was just kind of a mishap. We had a lot of Avalon in house, and I was like, well,
Let's give it a
let's
go.
give it up. Let's give it a spin.
Right.
And that's just kind of how it works out sometimes.
See, so I was talking about very simple. There's not a garnish here. There's a sauce. There's a side. There's a vegetable.
Right.
And there's the fish.
And there you go.
Do you know where this fish comes from?
Sure. Like right now, they're totally in season and coming out of Maryland, like wild caught.
So when if someone is sitting in the restaurant, they're asking the server, really interested in something that's in season, will they know this is coming from Maryland right now? And is something part of your training?
Yeah, so every day we have a 45-minute long food service to kind of go over, people coming in, where we're getting a lot of our different products from, and we have a good amount of chunk of time to sit and talk about it.
Nice. And that's rare. I mean, I've gone to restaurants and you ask the server, what is this, or is this wild caught, or is this hormone free? They don't know. So that's huge.
Well, if they don't know, we should come back to the kitchen and ask, too.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, the challenge here is to really get, there's a lot of servers. We have over 100 staff.
Oh, wow.
It's like trying to figure out how to relay all the information out. So it takes a good amount of organization and timing.
Nice.
To be able to get everyone on board on the same page. That's the hardest part.
Getting everybody on the same page.
Getting everyone on the same page and just really focusing on what the mission is and what we're doing as far as purchasing. There's a lot of it comes down to how we're purchasing, because we're purchasing in such large quantities that plays into kind of what we're doing here that's special.
But the cool thing about this company, even though they started in Colorado, that menu there is going to be very different from this menu.
Right.
Because it's all based on what's your surroundings.
Yeah, sure. So we follow kind of like a general, mission or format, and then it kind of goes regionally depending on where we are. We're just recently opened in Memphis, so that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So that whole distribution, it's all about kind of distributing. So Memphis is a totally different ballgame.
Ribs on that menu?
Indianapolis, I think I saw.
Indianapolis is next, yeah.
Yeah, that's about to open.
Yeah. So essentially, we come in with our kitchen community. We set up school gardens and get people on board with that side of our mission that kind of grows the restaurant.
So how many gardens do you have in this area?
Just under 200 in Chicago.
So what does that mean? You have a garden? It's in a school?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go into a Chicago public school, it's called the Chicago Public Schools, and we'll set up these really cool garden pods, and then we kind of on-go manage and help the teachers come up with a curriculum for the students, and then they also have an entrepreneurial program to teach the students kind of how to like run their own little garden business. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I take my kids to them. We've done a couple, like my family and a bunch of the staff here comes along with us.
So could anyone come to this, or is it something for the school?
I mean, it's anyone can come, but a lot of our staff are, get on board and help out.
Okay.
Now, I did a story on Mighty Vine last year. Didn't see the gold. It's new.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the gold either, and then they, like I said, they gave us a gift basket with the gold, and I was like, oh, it was a product I hadn't seen before.
This company single-handedly has changed how a lot of chefs in Chicago think about tomatoes, because typically the good guys wouldn't have tomatoes this time of year.
Yeah.
Now it is a local product. It is being grown down the road.
Yeah, they finally cracked the code on vertically farmed
Oh, we have more
tomatoes.
food. Let's do this. Let's take a second. We're going to take questions. If anyone, Marcel, let us know if there's any questions.
All right. So the first question is turbo a good fish to consider?
Turbo. Is that a good fish to consider?
I would have to look
Look at the charts.
I would have to look at what is it?
I know he mentioned the Shed Aquarium has.
But
Monterey Bay. Yeah, Monterey Bay's got. Well, the Shed also has a list. Yeah.
kind of the same thing.
I would look at the Shed or Monterey Bay online and just look at where Turbo is right now, because it depends if it's over. Sometimes it's marked as overfished. Sometimes it's marked as green. It's okay, and that changes. It changes depending on. Well, the problem is you go down this rabbit hole with seafood. Like there's like the MSC, the Marine Stewardship Council, there's NOAA. There's different bodies that govern how fish is considered overfished or not.
Oh, wow.
But I think if you look at a couple things, look at the Shed, look at Monterey Bay. If Turbo looks like it's a green, like a thumbs up, then yeah, absolutely.
And that's not a commonly known fish.
No, I don't. I kind of stay away from turbo just based on the price point. So
Meaning it's
I'm
too high?
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
really looking at turbo, but it's funny, like bring up, different classified, species based on how they're being fished. We have a fisherman in Maine that does our oysters and mussels, and she also does crab and halibut when it's in the season. And it comes from like two fishermen that bring in the halibut. It's not they're not waked or anything like that. We still can't get it from them because it's considered yellow from the Atlantic.
Oh, wow. Well, let's see if we have another question here really quick, and then we're going to try some of this food.
All right. So are most chefs open to preparing off menu if the patron asks?
Good question. Are most chefs into cooking off menu if the patron asks?
Here, yes.
Okay.
Every night.
There you go. The kitchen will do it every night.
We do. I mean,
wow.
In River North, we have a lot of different kind of clientele. And I think it's people with allergies and,
Right.
certain dietary restrictions. You're cooking off menu every night.
What's the craziest thing you have requested off menu?
None of it's really crazy to me anymore. It's,
No peanut, no shellfish, no cream, no garlic, no butter.
No salt?
no salt. Yeah, exactly. We do that all the time. It'll be like salmon, no salmon.
Salmon, no salmon.
Dairy, no allium.
Oh my goodness, we need to eat.
Okay, great.
So this looks like pork.
Thank you.
Is this your knife? Is that...
Coming in for the close-ups now. What do we got?
Yeah, so what we have here is Kilgus Farms pork loin.
So Kilgus is a farm it's a creamery, right?
Yeah, so they do all Jersey cows. So
Okay.
it's really pretty brown cows.
But they're raising animals.
They do raise pigs
Okay.
Oh, wow.
as well, and goats. A lot of goats. We used to bring in goat. But now, this time of year, it's really odd. I usually get hams from him.
Okay.
Because hams are like really hard for the farmers to get rid of unless it's holiday season.
Oh, real? Okay. Yeah.
So for the holidays this year, and this is kind of a weird seasonality thing. He's like, I don't have any hams. I have 36 pork minnows, which is the belly and the loin.
Okay.
And I was like, well, that's strange. I will take them all. And he's like, are you serious? And I'm going to take them all.
So this is loin?
So that's loin. We have some hazard-free farms, butcher's blood polenta, and some collard greens, some hazard-free farms, black-eyed
Looks
peas,
wonderful.
and pickled Fresnos.
So where's Hazard Free Farms?
So she is a fifth-generation farmer, first female farmer on her land. They are going to be just a little, what would that be, northwest of Rockford.
Okay.
So she does legumes, a bunch of different types of corn, mainly corn and legumes,
Okay.
which are great cover crops. So she's awesome.
And what's this right
Here we have some, this is a risotto dish we do here with,
Okay.
again, pistachios coming into play with pistachio piccata, so a little breadcrumb, pistachio, garlic, some house-made ricotta from Kilby's Farms as well, and then some Nichols Farm squash as well. Yeah.
That's great.
Let's try it.
We're going to actually eat on camera.
On camera, we're going to just take a bite.
Let's take a bite.
Do you
Okay.
eat on camera?
Of course I do.
That's what I
I'll
was
even
saying.
join it.
Right.
Pistachios. Very nice.
Yeah.
Not too rich, but the squash
That's
actually gives
different.
it richness. You don't need to add a ton of cheese.
Yeah, they fold in squash puree as well.
That's nice.
All of my clients are like, are you eating pasta right now or anything?
Yeah, risotto's one of those things too. You never know whether to put it in the pasta section of your menu or not.
Try some of this.
So what is the grain I hear in the rice again?
It's a wild rice from
My home steak.
Mine too.
What's the name of this on the menu?
That is the striped bass with wild rice and oil drum.
Okay. Very
Mighty
good.
Vine tomatoes.
Very good.
South Minneapolis.
South Minneapolis. I'm from St. Cloud.
I'm trying to grab some of this over here.
Very small town.
St. Cloud State, I had a lot of friends there.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
Any Minnesotans out there?
Any Minnesotans out there? So this dish is,
Oh my goodness, that was really good.
she's got a nice earthiness to it. The mushroom and the rice. But I want to try that more too.
That's very good.
We should get that pickled Fresno back.
Oh my goodness, that's really
There's a
good.
lot of pickled peppers on menus these days.
Yeah.
Pickled Fresno, pickled chilies. It gives it some acid and some bite to contrast with the richness of the dish.
Fresnos are great too because they have just kind of the right amount of heat and sweetness to them. It's something I just kind of started playing around with in the last couple of years.
Well, we're going to probably wrap up our show here in a little bit. I want to ask you a couple questions. If someone were coming into the kitchen, what is the thing that they should order? Is it what's on our table right
Today
here?
I would do the bass.
The bass.
Yeah. I
Right
do
there.
fish here almost every time. I feel like,
So fish every time.
yeah, I really have, my philosophy is when you kind of come out to eat, you want things that maybe you wouldn't make at home.
Yeah. Or
necessarily.
don't make right.
Sure. And fish is, to me, one of the staples.
And as somebody in the business, I always want to see how they cook fish because that requires a lot of skill. Cooking a steak, throw it in the broiler, you wait, you flip it over, you wait, you pull it out, you're done. Cooking fish requires a little bit of delicate, you've got to eye on it, you've got to look for the texture,
Right.
whether it's crispy, or it requires more skill.
Yeah,
That's
there's
awesome.
definitely a lot of skill.
Well, we're going to wrap up here and probably continue to eating, but I want to let you know, right now, you want to go ahead and like the Coach Sills Show page because I'm giving away a free giveaway. But you have to like the page, and we're going to announce the winner. We're going to do a random prize. And if you comment right now, just put a comment, I love the Coach Sills Show. I know we just started, but if you do that, we're going to put you in twice, and we're going to announce the winner tomorrow morning, actually tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. We got prizes we're giving out, so do that right away, and we'll share this video. You'll have a chance to watch it anytime, and look out for our next episode next Thursday with a new guest. I'm out. This is Coach Sill.
Thank you.
That was good. I learned a lot. I mean, I learned a